Hey, you caught me off guard. I wasn't ready. Did I give you the high sign? Good morning, Emily. I was BKP. That is what we're going to do. Is we're going to catch some other people off guard. Thank you, Emily, for being prompt there. I'm your host, BKP, and it is time for BKP Politics. Probably caught me. That's what I was saying. I understand. I understand we're on video, but you probably caught me with this. Studio B is an ice box this morning. It's a little cold, so I got a little frost on the tip of the ski slope this morning. And so that being said, BKP Politics at 9 o'clock. Let me tell you what's happening. At 9 o'clock, we will have Georgia State Senator Republican Steve Gooch. He is down at the Capitol this morning. Okay. He is down at the Capitol this morning. He is going to come on at 9 o'clock. Now, we understand some things are happening under the Gold Dome. That would what we call the Capitol here in Atlanta, Georgia. So we understand some things are happening under the Gold Dome. He's going to come on at 9, and he's a good guy, but we're going to just ask him point blank some questions. We are. We're going to ask some point blank questions, and he's going to. I know we're going to find out some things at 9 o'clock. I guarantee that we're going to find out some things in Georgia. Now, there's a couple things I want to start out calling. Now, it's 8:02. You are the research department. There's so much stuff, and I read all of it. The first chance I get, there's the phone number, email address, ways to follow us on social media. Thank you. Welcome, research department, this morning. We do a show, but it's like we're getting together because we're the research team. It's like we're having our 2-hour meeting, and we look at the things and we talk about the things we need to research and dig deeper. And then we break at 10 and we get out of here and go research all the topics that we discuss in 2 hours. Should I say this on video? I need help. I understand people say, I watched all the hearing yesterday and I enjoyed it. I know. Wow, you need some help. But here's a couple things, and I'm going to get right into. I got a call 8:03. I wanted to wait at least for the show to be 3 minutes in before I use bad words, and I don't intend to use bad words. But yesterday, I'm listening to the media, and I'm listening to Kemp, and I listening to Raffensperger, the Secretary of State, the Governor, and the Secretary of State of Georgia, and I'm listening to them yesterday morning, and we got to call bullshit. All right, I'm sorry. We do. And we're going to do that right here in a minute, because yesterday I was thinking to myself, well, I'm going to tell you in a second. So yesterday I get a text in the afternoon from the research department. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. And someone in the research department sends me a text and says, why is there a Department of Justice plane in Atlanta? Okay. So I start searching for it this morning. Lo and behold, there it is, number 9. Okay. Now, I don't know why. Okay. But there it is. Okay. I don't know why it was in Atlanta yesterday. Give me number 8. Here's the aircraft information, the tail number, registration. It says it's the United States Department of Justice. Okay. Gulfstream. Give me number 7. Looks like approximately 4:11 p.m. Eastern time. Just saying. And give me number 5. DOJ Gulfstream jet landed in Fulton County, Georgia. See the actual flight tracker data. You can go there and check the data. They are operating under the call sign. You have the call sign right there. You can go, if you know how to do it, the Cub fan knows how to do it, can look up all this. Wonder if that has any significance. The plane was on the ground for 2 hours in Fulton County yesterday. Okay? So I do not know. All right? Number 6. Touchdown, 4:11 p.m. Eastern Time. Departed at 5:01 p.m. Landed Reagan International, right, at 5:20. We can only assume they dropped off whatever was seized in Fulton County in D.C. If something was seized, if it was seized. But there, number 9, we don't know why the Department of Justice made a quick run down to Fulton County yesterday and got out of here. So we don't know. All right. Now, yesterday, the media, and we'll get a little deeper into it later, but the media is just really enjoying. Look at these pieces of garbage this morning. Supposedly number 28. Give me number 28, because I'm gonna move this right into Raffensperger and Governor Kemp, Brian Kemp here in Georgia. And here is Minka and Joe and little Willie, and they're laughing and yucking it up. Arizona governor appears to ignore call from White House as election results were certified. So, yeah, Ducey there in, I have it here, right here. Give me number 47. This is Doug Ducey, the governor of Arizona. He is certifying the election, and he has his ringtone set. Okay. Now they're loving this in the media. They are yucking this up. Okay. He has his ringtone set to "Hail to the Chief" when the president calls. So yesterday, it's live. He's signing the certification, and all of a sudden his ringtone goes off, "Hail to the Chief." This is a picture of him getting his phone out and muting the president and setting aside. He didn't take the president's call. They are really enjoying that this morning. They are enjoying that. And the reason I say this, to me, this is how Republicans, because we've got to be careful here, because we're starting to be able to distinguish, not that we're starting to, we always have been able to, but it's becoming very clear in distinguishing Republicans and Trump supporters. We got to be careful with that. Just saying. Now, there's Republicans and Trump supporters. And the definition, the clear divide, is coming forward on a daily basis. It's getting opened up, the clear divide, on a daily basis. So they were yucking it up yesterday because Arizona certified the election, and he didn't take the president's call. Now, so President Trump yesterday tweets out, and I have it here somewhere. We will find it. We have a tweet here somewhere. Give me just a second, because I want that tweet. Maybe I put it up, maybe I didn't. Here's number 43. And the president tweeted out on Ducey yesterday, why is he rushing to put a Democrat in office? Okay. Because that put yesterday certifying they're going to swear in Mark Kelly ASAP as a senator. They want that Senate seat. They want it. Now, Sally lost according to what they have as the vote count now. I'm not using the word results. Results is it's defined. Result. What's the period? I'm not using result. I'm not using overturn an election. I'm not using that. We're still searching for the truth in the election. And so they want to send, and that's what Trump said. Why is he rushing to put a Democrat in office? Especially when so many horrible things concerning voter fraud are being revealed at the hearing going on right now. So while at the time Ducey is signing to certify the election in Arizona, there was a great hearing taking place with a lot of facts that the media is just totally overlooking. So, yes, they're rushing to put Mark Kelly. Now, I'm almost up to what I want to mention about Kemp and Raffensperger before we go to our first break. So yesterday, the president tweeted out and said, give me number 32, okay? And the president tweeted out yesterday Georgia Governor's Brian Kemp response to Trump's tweet. So Trump tweeted out yesterday, hey, Kemp, where are you? I'm ashamed I ever endorsed you. Where are you, man? Do something. You're the governor. You have executive powers in your state. Do something. Well, Georgia Governor Brian Kemp's response to Trump's tweet. Georgia law prohibits the governor from interfering in elections. The Secretary of State, who is elected constitutional officer, has oversight of elections that cannot be overridden by executive order. Cannot be overridden by executive order. As the governor has said repeatedly, he will continue to follow the law and encourage the Secretary of State to take reasonable steps, including a sample audit of signatures to restore trust and address serious issues that have been raised. So let me say this. Bullshit. It was okay. Now keep this in mind. Why they're feeding us all this garbage in Georgia, okay? It was okay to call an emergency special session, if memory serves me right. My memory could be going. It was okay to call a special session to do an executive order to give this man the power over everything in the state. Why his power was unlimited. Absolutely unlimited. I mean, he had an executive order. He could close nursing homes. He could shut down funerals. He could shut down your church. He could shut down the bowling alleys. He could shut down the bars, the restaurants, shut down the schools. This man was handed. Because we were in a pandemic. It was an emergency. But now Republicans don't quite see it the same way when it comes to saving the republic for which it stands. So they don't see it that way. It would only end up in court. Why didn't it end up in court when Kemp signed that executive order? They signed that executive order, gave him executive power. Why did that end up in court? Why didn't Democrats get outraged? Because they were laughing their asses off, because they knew the minute Republicans got together and gave Kemp all this power that their door would be open now to do anything they want with the elections. Yes, they could do it because of safety measures, the elections. And they laughed at Kemp all the way, and the Republicans, Stacey Abrams, the whole entire time. But yes, it was okay then. We weren't concerned what any Georgia laws would prohibit the governor from interfering in when we gave him the blank check to do whatever he wanted with our lives, because it was important. It was a pandemic. Why, we've got to give the governor power over everything. And we have to respect the Secretary of State, who is an elected constitutional officer, to have oversight over the elections. Well, and then on top of that, Raffensperger comes out yesterday and he says, number 31, well, I think the president's getting bad information. That's our Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger. I think the president's getting bad information. Well, bad information is he getting, Brad? That you walked into a meeting last March and sit down with Democrats? Now, listen, if you're getting angry with me, I can't help it. But let me tell you something. Stacey Abrams gets up in the morning in Atlanta and she goes, wonder which way the wind is blowing, because that's the way I'm going to kick a Republican's ass this morning, because they ain't going to do a damn thing about it. Oh, yeah, I live here. Oh, yeah, they don't do a damn thing about it. They live in total fear of that woman. Walked into a meeting, okay? And he must not like confrontation, because he went into a meeting in March. Oh, you don't want to check signatures? Sure, no problem. Well, it would be hard for us to see if those 300 votes really came from that vacant lot. So the vacant and DeKalb. But if you must have that, will that keep us out of court? Yeah, that'll keep us out of court. Well, then let's do it, because I don't want to go to court. I'm going to brag to the people of Georgia that I'm going to get this election done without spending all this time in court. You know what? I'll tell you this. Josh McCoon would have never walked in and kissed their ass. He'd have never done it. I went back. I knew I should have never got started. I went back when the Secretary of State was running for office, when that seat was open, and I listened to several interviews with then Senator Josh McCoon that was running for Secretary of State. And I listened to him say, we're going to have to. He predicted this. I'll find it and play it. He predicted all this was going to take place in my interview. He said, we will have to have somebody in the Secretary of State's office that is ready to battle it out in court with these people, because that's where we will be, trying to stop them from stealing elections. My quote, stealing elections. But I could play that video for you. I watched it over and over. He knew all along. Raffensperger walks in March. What's Raffensperger do in March? Oh, no signature? That's fine. Oh, you want 22. Let me get it. Let me write this down, because I'm going to give you whatever the hell you want. You want 22 Democrat vote calculators, meaning drop boxes for harvesting. You want 22 in Gwinnett. Between DeKalb and Fulton, you want 63. And then down in Clayton, you want another 27. All right, so we're well over 100 in the four most corrupt counties and the bluest counties in the state. Is that what you want? Don't check signatures. Okay. Everybody gets an absentee ballot. Okay. All right. We'll send out, everybody can request an absentee ballot. Cool. All right. And we'll put over 100 and some of these ballot harvesting boxes out. Is that it? Because you know what? That was enough. That was enough for when the article came out in the AJC concerning March meeting, right? When it came out, Brad had done so well with Democrats. Democrats have quotes in that article saying it's the right thing to do. Brad didn't come out of that meeting and have to go to court with a Democrat. No. I mean, the Democrats had to come out of that meeting, and they didn't even get to the steps. They were speed dialing Stacey, everything. We got everything. The whole checklist is done. I mean, let me just say this, all right? Stacey Abrams is now bragging. She is bragging. She has 900,000 absentee ballots ready to drop in those boxes. Brad, ready to drop. Because Brad also had another meeting with the election board, had an opportunity to let the boxes run out. It was supposed to expire, okay? It was supposed to expire on the end of December. But Brad said, let's renew them. They went so well the first time, right? Stacey Abrams is bragging about 900,000 to drop in those boxes again. You and I are being labeled the bad people because we don't trust Brad Raffensperger and now, sad to say, Brian Kemp. You and I are being put out there as the bad people because we don't trust the upcoming election. Now, you're not hearing me say don't go vote. You're not hearing that. You're not hearing me say that sit at home. The president's coming to tell you to go vote. So if you support Donald Trump, I think Mike Pence is coming Friday and he's coming Saturday. So if you support the president of the United States, he's coming Saturday to tell you to get out and vote and get Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue over the finish line so you do not end up with a radical Chuck Schumer. Okay? But let me tell you something. We can't check signatures. Let me give you a little something before we go to break because we've got a lot to talk about in Arizona. And then we have State Senator Steve Gooch coming up at 9. If a candidate, now pay attention to this because I'm going to try, I try to side on common sense. All right. Now Raffensperger's upset. The family's upset. They're getting death threats. People are, give me number 32. There are death threats. FBI is checking into it. His family is getting threats. And we don't advocate anybody threatening anybody here. Don't threaten anybody. Seriously. We are not, no way are we advocating that. All right. So, but if you want to be a candidate, pay attention to this because this might have too much logic. So I don't know. There's something wrong with this. If you want to be an independent candidate in Georgia, okay? You want to be an independent candidate in Georgia and you want to get on the ballot. You have to go and get so many votes because I watched an independent candidate do that in this past November election. So you have to go get so many signatures from registered voters in the district that you're running. So you go and do that. Let's say 800. So you have to go out and get 800 signatures. Now what happens is you go to your election office and you turn the signatures in. And the election office takes 3 days because I had it happen. I followed this all the way through with the candidate. Election office takes about 3 days. They bring a team of people in and they pull the election card out for every name and they match the signatures with the election card. And they check it off if it matches. All right? They look for 2 things. One is the person that signed the petition for the candidate. Is that person a registered voter? Does that person live in the district and eligible to vote in the district where the person wants to run and be on the ballot? Is the signature accurate? Once they answer that exact match, they check that off. When they get 800 matches, they then let the person know that they will be on the ballot. So it's interesting. We go through things like that for somebody to get on a ballot of checking signatures and making sure they're accurate and able to legally vote, to where we have an election and we're not able to check signatures. Look, don't forget, we gave Brian Kemp, the governor of Georgia, power over everything. Locking your business, unlocking your business, your kids, everything. But now it's against the law in Georgia for him to get involved. We'll see. I think there's 3 seats in Georgia that we will start January 6th. I'm kindly being cautious on this. There's 3 seats in Georgia. Republicans may not keep all 3. First of all, I feel there will be a primary challenger against Brian Kemp, the governor. I feel there will be a primary challenger against Lieutenant Governor uh, Lieutenant Governor uh, Jeff Duncan, and I will go as far as to say I hope it is once again David Schaefer, the GOP chair, that challenges him in the primary. And I'm pretty sure if he doesn't resign, because I think the pressure on Raffensperger can be so ramped up that he may resign. But if Raffensperger doesn't resign, I hope there's a primary challenger against Raffensperger. And again, I'm not endorsing, but I hope it's somebody like State Senator Josh McCoon again. But I'm not going to venture into the governor. I do believe there'll be a primary challenger. But sad to say, I will say now, with Stacey Abrams going like this and seeing which way the wind blows so she could kick a Republican's ass on a daily basis in Georgia, as long as that continues and they don't have the to push back on her and get in court and fight, one of those constitutional offices may go Democrat. Now, I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to go through some Arizona. I want to play you some videos that happened yesterday in Arizona. And also, is it daylight out? What is that I hear? Daylight? Is that gunshot I hear? It's daylight? Oh, that must be Joe DeGeneva out there shooting somebody at daylight. Woo! Joe DeGeneva said the guy should be taken out at daylight. Is that you out there, Joe? I'm your host, BKP. State Senator Steve Gooch coming up at 9. We'll be back after these brief messages. You're watching BKP Politics.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
All right, folks, we're back. I am BKP, and you're watching BKP Politics. Thanks for joining us. It is December 1. It's the first day of December. We have snow on the ground. There's a little snow on the ground in North Georgia here, and there are all the ways. You are the research team, so if you need me, you want to text me, you want to be on the show sometime, there's the phone number, email address, and all the ways to follow us on social media. At 9 o'clock, we will have State Senator Steve Gooch will be joining us from down in Atlanta. We'll be talking to him. Now, yesterday in Arizona, okay, what was that song George Strait sang? I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona. Now, the media is totally going everything. Every time they even bring up anything where Giuliani is the president's legal team, Sidney Powell, Giuliani. In fact, Joe Scarborough said Sidney Powell should be disbarred, right? Giuliani, everything he does, they say it's been debunked. As Giuliani and president's legal team continue to try to overturn the results, right? I understand, I hear how they report it. But yesterday in Arizona, and you can look this up. My numbers are not going to be correct, but you can look this up. A group did a study on absentee ballots. And they had the numbers, this group, and I wish I had their name, they had the numbers of absentee ballots that they were checking. And they just started calling the people and asking if they requested an absentee ballot and did they vote by absentee ballot. That was the only two questions. And I think off the top of my head, they got like 2,500, maybe more, but at least 2,500 people to the phone. You can check all these numbers. And I think out of the 2,500 plus people they got to the phone, it was as high as I think 53% did not request an absentee ballot. As high as 53%. They ran statistics yesterday. I mean, like the one representative in Arizona said, now I have a headache. They ran statistics yesterday that were just overwhelming evidence, okay? And this nonprofit study group, they actually played phone calls. They recorded phone calls, and the only thing they clipped out was the last name because they didn't want people to be doxing them. I mean, because trust me, right now, if you don't accept what they tell you you have to accept, your life and everything is at stake. I'm serious right now. If you don't accept what they say, the results, as they call them. So anyhow, they cut off the last name, and you could hear the phone call. Hey, we're with the so-and-so group. Did you request an absentee ballot? No. Did you vote absentee ballot? No, I didn't vote. I didn't vote absentee ballot. They played like 4 phone calls that were very clear. Recorded phone calls. No, I didn't request an absentee. But the absentee ballot was recorded as a vote. Now remember, that's what we heard from one of the witnesses in Pennsylvania yesterday on the show. Gloria Lee Snover said Pennsylvania, they did that. They went back. You see, generally, nobody's going to come and make phone calls like they did in Arizona. And they're doing this everywhere, okay? I think in Michigan, you can go look at the numbers. It could be higher, but I think it was like in Michigan, they're already up to like 44% of the phone calls they're getting people did not request, okay? And if that method plays itself out against, it's just like polling. They'll tell you that a state is going for Biden, and they only sample 750, likely voters. All right. But these are actually phone calls where people pick up the phone and answer the questions. So if you use their method of 44% and you take absentee ballots, that wipes out votes enough to carry Joe Biden over the finish line, wipes them out. But moving on from that, we heard our guest, yesterday say in Pennsylvania, they reactivated, that she paid attention as a GOP chair in Northampton County, that they reactivated voter rolls all the way back into the 90s, 30 years ago, where people had never voted. Wonder if they thought they would get them an absentee ballot and they would never get a phone call and they would never even look concerned. So yesterday, they got caught in Arizona, and this guy does the best job of explaining what happened. And they show, and I don't want to mess it up, but you could go watch it. They show in give me number. Well, they're denying this happened, but number 3, give me number 3. Dominion systems were connected to the internet during the election. Cybersecurity expert. Okay, they were connected to the internet. Right? We know, and it was testified to yesterday. Number 4, alleged anonymous email. Sorry about that. Alleged anonymous email from Arizona Tech worker claims 35,000 votes given to Democrats in Pima County. The witness said they put this on the screen. It's an anonymous email. They put it on the screen yesterday. But this same guy here, cybersecurity expert Phil Waldron, he explained what happened. Now, pay attention to this, and when I say it like that, remember, think back at Arizona about 8:30 at night, And then think back at 10 o'clock when Fox News called the race. I'll never forget it because we went on election night coverage live at 8, live at 8. And I won't forget the Cub fan. I think Rick is the first one that looked over at me and he said, it was close to 10 o'clock, early. It said, Fox just called Arizona. We looked at each other. Fox just called. How did Fox know enough votes had already been stacked in Arizona that early in the night to make that call? Well, the guy showed yesterday the chart on the dump of votes at 8:35. In fact, they came in so fast that you could prove it was faster than the scanner will work. And let me pull that video. I got it. I'm pretty sure I know which one it is here, Emily. Give me the one that says busted. Arizona injected votes faster. Play that one.
Notice a difference in Arizona versus the other states. Our team mostly focused on what we call spike analysis, which were an electronic inject of a lot of votes, and where the number of votes that were injected in a specific time period exceeded the ability of the scanners to process ballots and upload. So basically, it's a signal of a potential anomaly where we would want to go in and do forensic analysis on the ballots that were processed in those batches to analyze. The way that these systems work is that you can run votes in, run votes in, run votes in, and if you get write-in ballots or error ballots, it just accumulates them into a batch file. And there may be, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 votes in this batch file, and then the administrator or the tabulator can just go, okay, I'm ready to process batch file, bloop, and they send it, and then it records those votes. In the user's manual, there's ways that it shows that the administrator can vote that batch, you know, in a 80%, 20%, 100%, however the administrator chooses. And that basically is a tool to allow them to move votes through the.
Spike analysis exceeded ability of the scanner. Go look at what happened around 8:35 in Arizona, their time. 9:30, 10 o'clock. Go look at around 8:35 their time, and then look at what time Fox News called Arizona. I think there should be an investigation into Fox News. Go look at, there was a spike exceeding the ability of the scanner. They showed yesterday, damn, I got to find that graph. You could find it. They put it on the screen. They showed, I think it was about 8:35 when, bam, so many votes came in for Biden that it exceeded the ability of the scanner. And let's see, would Arizona be far enough behind that Fox made the call? Maybe MSNBC knew what was happening. Maybe CBS knew what was happening, CNN. But maybe they said, we better not make it look too obvious. Maybe Fox didn't care. Maybe Fox wanted to be the leader, knowing how obvious something was wrong. Because when Rick, I'll say it again, looked over at me at 10 o'clock and said, Fox just called Arizona for Biden. What? That was the, Arizona, there is so many good witnesses. Just true-blooded patriots, God loving the country. One of the guys stood and saluted the flag. I mean, it was amazing yesterday. But the specialist they had, it was just great. Now, this guy here, he messed them up. All right? This guy messed them up yesterday. And he brought the house because his numbers were so on target. But at the end, he talked about certifying the election. And this guy talked about, if you sign, I think it's called a K-10, right? And it's an earnings report. If you certify a report for a publicly held company, and the guy breaks it down, let's see how he plays it. I think I called it just Bobby. Play the one that just says Bobby. All right, if you have to put that back in. But this guy right here, he gets his Twitter account suspended yesterday. Was it an accident? I mean, Colonel Mastriano in Pennsylvania got his suspended immediately after their hearing last Wednesday. Bobby got his. So as soon as she gets that, we're going to put it back in. And you're going to listen to him talk about, how these guys, we're the public. The states are owned by the people.
If you could just tell us in your, in the simplest way possible as an expert, what is your opinion as to the validity of the numbers that were certified today by the Secretary of State and the governor about this election?
If I was an executive at a publicly traded company, I would never sign that because I risk jail time and having all my money taken from me in lawsuits. So to answer your question, I would never, ever have certified. I'd rather resign than have certified those results.
So your professional opinion is that the numbers are fraudulent?
I believe they're fraudulent based on the data. And my sister asked me a simple question this morning. She goes, how sure are you? And my sister's a pretty stubborn person like me. And I said, I'd be willing to put my life on it. I'm that sure about the analysis, assuming that the data that I got from the state and everything else was accurate. So, if you're giving me all inaccurate data from everywhere, then, that's my only caveat.
My life on it. How many Americans are actually saying they're willing to stake their life on saving the Republic? He would rather resign. Now, I watched his entire presentation, and I think he's exactly on target if you didn't get a chance to watch Bobby. But what happened after Bobby got done? Let's see here. Oh, here's another guy that thinks that it's inaccurate. Give me number 15. Even Rand Paul suggests statistical fraud in states where Trump lost. We know that. We know it's statistical fraud. Here's number 16. No, don't go to 16 yet. I'm sorry. Don't go to 16. Here's number 18. Give me 18. Here's Bobby. The guy that just gave the testimony, as soon as he gets done, number 18, right? Account suspended. Bobby, why did you account suspended on Twitter? Wonder if it was an accident. Give me number 19. Breaking, number 19. Okay. Twitter suspends the account of Bobby Pitton while he gave his witness report to the hearing in Arizona. While he was doing it, they suspended his account. While the guy was giving his report, they suspended the guy's account. Just saying. Okay. Just saying. So yesterday in Arizona, an amazing, like I said, an amazing testimony from many yesterday. Number one, let me go through a couple of headlines because in about 5 minutes we're going to go to State Senator Steve Gooch at the top of the hour. Breaking, Arizona State Rep says we are clawing our Electoral College votes back. Plan to withhold on January 20th. So this is Arizona Rep Mark Fincham saying, hey, we're going to pull these electoral votes back. Okay. Number two, yesterday, and I don't know an update on this. I need to get one. Number two, Pennsylvania lawmakers formally introduced resolution to dispute 2020 election results. And number three, yesterday in a testimony, if you take time, look this up. It's very accurate. Dominion systems were connected to the internet during election. The cybersecurity expert. Let me see what else I want to get. Now, it seems like it was just yesterday. We have these people all across the country. Democrats, I say it. It seems like it was just yesterday. Democrats were trying to do everything to save our democracy, right? On a daily basis, there was a floodgate. They opened the floodgate on people standing at the media cameras to say, save our democracy. Where are those Democrats now that want to save our democracy? The proof, the evidence is overwhelming. But yet you don't want to save the republic. Now it seems like just only in America, maybe not only in America, maybe in Ukraine where you send $1 billion and they steal it there. But in America, only a guy that's handing out leaflets one day as a community organizer. Give me number 11. And I know what you have to do on that one, so it takes a minute. Tour Barack and Michelle Obama's Cape Cod home with its own private beach. The Obama's home on 29-acre estate has 7 bedrooms and 8.5 bathrooms. 7 bedrooms and 8.5 bathrooms. Here's what it looked for 10. Okay, folks. Joe Biden, thankfully, it wasn't his hip. Okay, because they don't have him timed out yet, and what that means is they don't have Joe Biden timed out yet. Joe Biden is supposed to go like 90 days into his administration, maybe. Okay, there's the nice estate, Cape Cod. Nice Cape Cod estate there. 29 acres, right? Plenty of bedrooms for the Obamas to entertain. You see, Biden would go to Camp David, but the Obama administration that is taking over, or Jen Psaki or whatever her name is, the press secretary that they can look right in the camera and lie to you. They're back to pasty white girls. Remember, I said that 4 years ago. Oh, those pasty white girls, right back at it. All right. So the Obama third term is going in place. Rahm Emanuel, Department of Transportation, possibly if Rahm gets in there. But this would be the perfect getaway for Obama's cabinet. You can think what you want. But this would be the perfect getaway for Obama's cabinet to meet, or his DOJ and his Secretary of State, climate czar, all of them to meet. It'd be interesting if the media will follow up on this house and see what happens February, March, April, May, or what happens right after Joe breaks the hip instead of fractures his foot, and is then, is then Joe's going to be out. Okay, so this is going to be controversial. We're going to do it at 9:30. You keep asking me about this. Okay, we hear about the servers in Germany. I'm going to play the interview, number 14. Retired general says U.S. Intel Group, nicknamed Kraken, seized Dominion servers in Germany. Is it McLenary or McLenany General? We're going to play this at 9:30 because you're asking about it, and I understand it's going to be very controversial, but we're going to play it. When we come back, Georgia State Steve Gooch will be at the top of the hour. Take a break.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in Ellijay, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
Hey, we're back. I'm your host, BKP. You're watching BKP Politics. Emily, State Senator Steve Gooch sent me a message, said they're wrapping up a meeting. It's just going to be like 2 or 3 more minutes. So when I give you the high sign, just go to card. Don't go to commercial. Go to card. Let me get a sound check with him, and then we'll back in. Okay. So we're waiting for. We won't be going to commercial. We'll just be going to our show card for about 30 seconds, so don't go anywhere. It troubles me that some folks are willing, just for the sole intent of flipping an election, of spreading misinformation, said Duncan. That would be Jeff Duncan, the Lieutenant Governor of Georgia, who spoke of friends who sent him pro-Trump conspiracy theories that took him seconds to debunk, right? They debunked them in seconds, all right? I think we're better than this. My hope is that we move past this here in Georgia and as a country. Whew. Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, the headline from the AJC, Duncan pushes back on false voter fraud claims. We're better than this. So it looks like Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan will have a primary challenger. Looks like, I think, Governor Brian Kemp will have a primary challenger. I know for sure, I feel for sure. I don't know. Nobody told me for sure is got to be careful with for sure. The Lieutenant Governor, I feel good that Raffensperger, if he would not just go ahead and resign. I think he should just go ahead and resign. Now, State Senator Steve Gooch will be with us in just a couple minutes. He had to wrap up a meeting. So as soon as he calls in, we'll get him on the air. The Lieutenant Governor became the highest profile Republican to defend Brian Kemp, Governor Brian Kemp, Secretary of State Raffensperger, after Trump blasted for both refusing to demand interfere with the results of the Georgia election, not the results, AJC, not the results, over false claims of a rigged outcome. Okay, so in an appearance on CNN late Monday, Duncan said he was concerned about the misinformation that continues to fly around. So, hey, here you go. All right. Okay, did you go back to card? I don't know what happened. I mean, I didn't pay attention. Why did you go back to card? I don't know where I lost you there. I was and sorry about that, folks. A little confusion here in the studio this morning. Give me number 21 as we're waiting for State Senator Steve Gooch to call. Will Trump's trip to Georgia help or hurt the GOP? What do you think? The media wants you to believe, this is what they were talking about this morning. Okay. Okay, that's all right. All right, I'm sorry about that little miscommunication in the studio. The media wants you to believe that Georgia, it's over. Okay. Here is the tweet that Brian Kemp yesterday, 26, with the president. Right here. Why won't Georgia Governor Brian Kemp get involved and use his emergency powers, which can be easily done. See, Kemp had emergency powers when he wanted to use them. Okay. Number 29, top Georgia Republicans push back on Trump pressure. Now, I'm just going to say this. You're going to see, all right, you're going to see, and we'll see where the money comes from. You're going to see MAGA candidates. You're going to see MAGA candidates, primary Republicans. If you think that Jeff Duncan is going to go on CNN, the lieutenant governor in Georgia, if you think Brian Kemp, Brad Raffensperger, and any other Republican out there to take on President Trump like this, top Republicans push back on Trump's pressure, and he's going to let it go? No, you got another thing coming. When number 30, when you are highlighted on Morning Joe as a Republican and you're called a top Georgia Republican, and they're yucking it up on Morning Joe, number 30, number 31. All right. So listen, I want to take another brief. Let's go to a short commercial break because I want to get ready for the senator to come on here. Let's take a short one. Emily, watch for me wherever we're at. When he calls in, we'll come back. All right.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
Car Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Circuit World has 9-piece living room packages at incredible prices. Get this stylish sofa and love seat, 3 tables, 2 lamps, 43-inch 4K TV, and stand, all for only $1699.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this 9-piece living room and reclining sofa and reclining love seat, now only $1999.99 or $149.99 a month. These packages are amazing. Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Ace is your healthful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
What you gonna do with all that junk?
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
All right, back. You're watching BKP Politics with BKP. They're trying to finish up a meeting. They hoped it would be done before 9 o'clock in Atlanta. So we're still going to get the state senator. As soon as he comes in, we'll start a new recording there. Now, I want to go to really quickly. I want to play this because I've received this from 4 different people. And you know, right now, I want to keep this out here for a reason. Is I'm not for sure what's going on here, but this is very interesting because every time I turn around, the server in Germany keeps coming up. Okay, so I thought I would listen to the interview, and then I thought, well, okay, let's play the interview, and let's go to what I call Kraken number 1. Okay. Let's go to this interview. We're going to play 1, and then we're going to come back and we'll play 2.
Now, Sidney and the president, through, I believe, General Flynn, have got the Kraken organization, the 305 Military Intelligence Battalion, working with them. Because in all of this, we have not seen any footprints of the DOJ, of the FBI, nor the CIA on the friendly side.
Wait a minute.
It's been on the deep state side.
Let me just stop you there, General, because you just said something very interesting. You just said that who has just opened up the Kraken, and then you just described what the Kraken was. We all know the term because of Sidney Powell using it, but you just said what it is. Can you back up on that?
Yes. Sidney got the term Kraken because that's the nickname of the 305th Military Intelligence Battalion. And that has been her source, along with other sources that Mary and I know about, but we don't want to talk about. And so we're getting the different sources that are relaying this. But the important thing is they identified, now get this, they identified China, Iran, and Russia as being involved in this and manipulating the votes. In addition, the U.S. Army, the U.S. Special Forces Command seized a server farm in Frankfurt, Germany, because they were sending this data from those 5 states or 6 states through the internet to Spain and then into Frankfurt, Germany.
All right. Like I said, I have gotten these videos. I got this interview about 4 different times. And I think it's interesting, all right? So it's something you might want to keep your eye on, all right? You might want to keep your eye on. I know people are already telling me to get the tinfoil hat out, but let's play Kraken number 2. You have to put that one back in. All right, so as soon as she puts it back in, we'll get it started. And like I said, you keep this in the back.
Special Operation Forces seized that facility. So they have those servers. And they know all this data they are providing.
Did that go down without incident, by the way? Did that seizure go down without incident?
Well, I've heard it didn't go down without incident. I haven't been able to verify it. I want to be careful in that. It's just coming out. But I understand my initial report is that there were U.S. soldiers killed in that operation. Now, that was a CIA operation. And so that's the very worrisome thing. Did that occur because of what Mary and I and Alan were notifying on the Sunday and the Monday in different networks that this was going to happen, that they were using Hammer and Scorecard, and so they decided to bounce it overseas. So the server farms that Hammer and Scorecard were using in the continental United States couldn't be used. I don't know that. In any case, it makes it more vulnerable because when you start moving that kind of data overseas, other people look at it.
But you are saying that was a CIA facility, and that was where the server was taken from by these special forces, was a CIA facility in Germany.
That's correct. Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay. So those are the 2 interviews, okay, that have, it's a long interview. It was sent to me, and, what say you? Is there a server farm in Germany that we had special forces go into? Okay, go to card just long enough. Don't go anywhere, folks. All right, we're back, folks. Emily, I hope you start a new recording right here. And you're watching BKP with BKP Politics. And joining us now is Georgia State Senator Steve Gooch. Senator Gooch, how are you today?
I'm doing well. Good morning, Brian.
Look, I know we had this scheduled earlier, and we got a lot of people been asking where you're at, but I know these are busy times down there. The halls are busy. You guys are in meetings, and so we just appreciate you being able to take a break this morning and get with us. I guess we'll just start out. What is happening at the Capitol, and what can you share with us that's going on?
Well, there's been for 3 weeks now, the country has been in a turmoil because of the elections and all of the alleged accusations of fraud and mishandling of elections, not only in Georgia, but throughout the country. And so, your viewers are concerned. My constituents are concerned. I'm getting hundreds of emails a day, phone calls, comments on Facebook, social media. And so there's been a lot of discussion, I would say, behind the scenes in the General Assembly, but not a lot out in front of the cameras yet. And I think that's concerned a lot of people because they feel like we're not doing anything. I hear that word a lot. You're not doing anything. And we actually have been trying to come up with a measured response as to what we can do as legislators. Of course, having a special session would require the governor to initiate that unless we had 3/5 vote of the General Assembly. And we just feel like we don't have that. We don't have the 3/5, especially in the House. And so I think, the Senate leadership has been in discussion, and we met on the phone yesterday, and we talked, and we're trying to come up with a game plan going forward. How do we prevent these fraudulent charges and accusations in the future? There's been a lot of things said and done publicly in press conferences and, of course, on social media. But you don't know what to believe anymore. You don't know who's telling the truth. You don't know what sources are actual facts versus theories and so forth. So I'm glad to see the lawsuits come forward. I think the lawsuits are going to bring a lot of evidence to the table through the transparency that we need. But the General Assembly has limited ability to do some things at this time. But I think we're taking the steps in the right direction. We're going to ask for a hearing this week. We hope to have, I don't have the details to give you right this second, but I'm hoping that before the day is over, we will have a game plan that will be published to the public. It'll be a hearing at the Capitol for our oversight committee in the state Senate. And we will be able to look at the process of this election and all elections going forward. And we've got to start today. First, we've got to start today to get both Senators Perdue and Kelly Loeffler reelected January 5th. But we also have to start today on election reform in Georgia because we know there's some issues that need to be looked at and scrutinized and tightened up. And so that's our game plan, is to begin that process immediately and get input from the public, ask people to come forward. If you have evidence of any wrongdoing, we want to see it. We want to hear about it, and we want to take action and be swift about it and aggressive in the session that's coming up January the 11th.
All right, let me put it this way. So, I get a lot of phone calls from people, and obviously, we want to find out what actually happened in this election. There's a lot of press conferences with our Secretary of State and a lot of press conferences, or our governor making statements, our lieutenant governor making statements, Jeff Duncan. And let me say this. What do you say to one of your constituents, because I actually live in your district, that says, you know what, I don't want to hear about a study group. Don't tell me study group. I don't want to hear about what you're going to do to prevent this in the future. Okay, let me just box it this way. I don't want to hear any of that. So what you're saying, and don't take this wrong, not you per se, but so what you're saying is we'll accept the fraud now. We'll just go ahead and accept this fraud but we'll work on to see that it doesn't happen again. What do you say to some? And as you well know, Senator, you know as well as I do, you go to the GOP meetings. I'm going to the GOP meetings. I was down Saturday when Senator Loeffler came up to Pickens. I've been in so many of these groups in the last 3 weeks, and this is the kind of stuff we're hearing out here. What say you to that?
I hear the same thing. I hear it at the breakfast tables around my district. I heard it early this morning in a local restaurant in Dahlonega from a bus driver. It doesn't matter where you go, you hear it. Mostly from Republicans, obviously. The Democrats are happy that their candidate won. Can the Georgia State Senate overturn the results of November 3rd? I don't think we can. Can a court system do that? Possibly. I think that's where the course of action has to take place at this point in time. It has to come from the court system. I don't know of anything that we're going to get done in the next 8 to 10 days that's going to overturn what's happened. If there's a silver bullet there, I'm not aware of what that is. The electoral votes maybe as an option. I think some other states have looked at that. Pennsylvania has discussed that. Arizona, I hear, had hearings yesterday, although they weren't in their state capital. I heard they were at some hotel somewhere. I'm not sure what that was about. But we want to begin the hearings immediately in our state capital, to where to be televised live on the internet, to where the entire world will be able to hear it, and there'll be questions asked of these witnesses. And unfortunately, the Oversight Committee doesn't have the subpoena power that the federal government would have in a congressional situation. And so that's one of the weaknesses that we have in our system here in Georgia as well. So it's not going to be a study committee, I can assure you that. We want to get to the bottom of some of the allegations that have been put out there, and we want to find if there's a problem. If there is, it needs to be prosecuted. I said day before yesterday rather, on another radio show that if anyone's done anything wrong, they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And I don't care who that person is, male or female, whether they're elected or appointed or whomever. If they're a voter, if they voted illegally in Georgia, they should be prosecuted for that.
Well, let me give you a couple more things on this, because let's say this. Yesterday the governor said, I cannot get involved in elections, Georgia state law. I have the quote. But does he still have emergency powers that has been granted by the state legislature?
Yes, they are narrowly defined regarding the COVID-19 issue. That resolution that we passed back earlier in the year was narrowly written for the purposes of the virus and the pandemic.
But when the emergency powers were written for the governor, there was a lot of concern around the state that the governor was getting this much power. And I think several lawmakers said, maybe not publicly, but some lawmakers said, hey, it's written to where if we need to come in and end those powers, we can. Does the legislature not have the ability at any time to come in and withdraw those powers or alter them?
I believe there is a provision in the Constitution that allows us to rescind that once we establish a quorum, but that would require a petition of the General Assembly to do that. And I think it's probably the same requirement that we would have to call a special session, because technically that's what we would be doing, would be calling another special session to rescind that executive order and those privileges that we gave him earlier in the year. So if we had the 3/5 votes to do that, then you would think we would have the 3/5 votes to go into special session. But the Democrats are not going to vote to go into special session with the intent of trying to overturn the election. Now, with the exception of someone like Vernon Jones that you had on your show several times, Vernon might be friendly to an agreement such as that. But I seriously doubt you would have the other Democrats go along with such a request.
I understand the special session rules, but I thought when the legislature gave him these powers, emergency powers, that they could be rescinded and it didn't fall under special session rules. So that way you wouldn't be tied, your hands wouldn't be tied. And the only thing is if there is what I would call, these are my words, a way around, a workaround, maybe some of the senators and representatives in the state may have some negotiating power with the governor. And I'll tell you why I'm going with that, because you said going forward, okay, you said having meetings to prevent this from going forward, okay, going forward to prevent this from happening again. To most Georgians, going forward is now. And that's one of the outcries on a special session. And again, in your district, have you not heard anybody in your district say to you or comment in any way, well, you mean I'm going to go vote again on these same machines under the same exact circumstances as what we just went through in January? Do you not get that?
Oh, yes, sir. Day after day, I hear people have, I believe the voters have lost confidence in the system as it is today. They do not trust the integrity of the voting system that we have in place right now. Whether that is a correct feeling or not, that's the assumption that I get when I hear from a lot of my clients. And so it's a very concerning issue for me to make sure that we get this right. Now, again, the court cases that have been, the lawsuits that have been filed, it is imperative that the judges rule on those as soon as possible. That could be the turning point in this entire election for this runoff. If we find that there is corruption and there is mishandling of those machines and the software in those machines, then hopefully the courts would throw that out and those machines would not be used in this runoff. But we haven't established that yet. And we have to have that proof. We have to have that documentation, and we have to have that ruling, in my opinion. And I'm not an attorney, nor are you, but I believe we have to have that ruling from a court system in order to establish the fact that those machines are tainted and they can't be relied upon to go forward in this January 5th election. Early voting starts quickly, so we've got to get a decision made. If we tried to have a special session and tried to withdraw the use of those voting machines, I'm sure there would be lawsuits filed against us for doing such an act as that as well. Then you would be forced to go to some kind of a paper ballot. And then there's questions about the integrity of the paper ballot system. I personally believe if there is fraud in Georgia's elections this past November, it was in the verification process of these absentee ballots. I've heard from several people in my district that they don't believe that the integrity of the verification process is in place, and it shouldn't be allowed. We shouldn't have these absentee ballots to where people can just sign their name and send in an application and receive a ballot. They should be required to show up in person and show a photo ID. I personally would like to go back to the original way we voted, and that is everybody came and voted in person, unless you were in the military or you had a very specific reason why you should not or could not show up to vote on election day. Then you would be allowed to have an absentee ballot. We went from that system 20 years ago to today to where you have 21 days of advance voting, plus you have all these, basically without a reason, you can just call in or send in an application to get a ballot sent to your home or your business or even out of state. And that's where I'm mostly concerned right now, is with those absentee ballots, and the application process is so lax the way it is.
Well, and I don't want to keep going back to that, but like you said, on the machines, for example, yesterday in Arizona, I watched the entire hearing, and there's a lot of good testimony, a lot of good testimony where they actually show the numbers. They show an interesting marker at about 8:35 where they picked up that the machine was actually had more votes loaded than it was able to scan. So there's a lot of good information there to watch. But just going back to, moving forward, I know you say, well, we would end up in court, but that's one of the outcries. I guess there's two parts here. Some citizens in Georgia want the governor to call a special session, and then want the legislature in Georgia to dedicate, which is constitutional, to dedicate the electors to Donald Trump. Okay, I get that. But there's a lot of people that are, I would say, upset that a special session has been called to correct these ballot drop-off boxes. I mean, Senator, in between Gwinnett has 22, between Gwinnett and Clayton County, including DeKalb and Fulton, there are over 100 of these boxes out there, over 100. Stacey Abrams is bragging that she has 900,000, up to around 900,000 absentee ballots ready to go in these boxes somewhere. And we can't verify the signature. In the audit, there was a lot made out of it. We still couldn't verify the signature, correct?
That's what I hear too. And it's absurd that we have drop boxes for ballots. It's almost like a book drop at a public library on the outside of a library where you drop your book off instead of going inside to check it back in. Again, the integrity of our voting system is in question. And I believe we need to take drastic measures to ensure that every vote is counted that's a legal vote, and every illegal vote is not counted. And it should not be acceptable to have any illegal votes cast in our country.
What are you hearing out of the governor's office, if you don't mind us asking, and what's the lieutenant governor say about these possible committee hearings that you're going to have? What are you hearing from the three constitutional offices in the state to you guys at the Capitol?
The actual time and place for the meetings has not been announced, and therefore I have not heard any comments from any of the offices that you've asked about. So I personally have not heard from any of them, but this is something that I believe is important. The situation is at a critical level and is what I would consider a crisis in our state. And it's the most important thing that we'll be facing as a legislature going into this next session. And I believe the work has to begin immediately. And that's why we're calling for those hearings to begin as soon as this week.
I know we have a January 5th runoff coming with the two senators here in Georgia. And then the session, what day does session actually start?
I believe that's January the 11th. It's the second Monday of January right. Each year.
So January 11th. And I do want to be clear, it's accusations. I do want to be clear, it's accusations. But would you say, as soon as session started, that some of the accusations that have been made, where some of the constitutional officers are concerned, that could there possibly be some committees that start investigating some of these accusations that have been made? Is that part of going forward, looking at some accusations that have been levied against some of the constitutional officers?
I don't know if that's even, I don't know that that's even possible. Maybe it is. I would hope that if they're wrongdoing from a legal perspective, some of the accusations that you're referring to are strong accusations of criminal behavior. I would hope that would come out in these lawsuits. And I would hope that the GBI and the FBI would get involved if there are evidence of wrongdoing. And I would hope that the persons that violated those laws would be prosecuted and removed from office. And that goes for anyone, including myself. If I do wrong, I should be held accountable for those actions. And so I hope that doesn't come to fruition. I hope that's not true. I hope that those accusations are just merely falsified. And if that's true, then there could be lawsuits pending on those persons for slander and defamation of character as well. I think there are some good people in public office. When you do wrong, you should be held accountable. And we've sent a lot of elected officials to prison in this country over the last 200 years. And that's not to say it won't happen again, but I sure hope it doesn't happen in Georgia.
Well, I agree with you. That's why I said they're accusations. And I want to be clear on that for the audience. They are accusations that are being made, but they're very bold. They're very strong. All right. So possible Thursday, when will we know what's going to take place? And you're saying right now you don't know if those hearings, meetings would take place in the same format that we've seen in Pennsylvania and Arizona. It would be different this would be the state Senate
if we have the hearings, we will have them in the state capitol. Most likely they'll be in the same building as where the Gold Dome is. There are some meeting space next door in what's called the LOB, that's the Legislative Office Building. But considering the COVID-19 restrictions, I suspect we will have those hearings inside the Capitol, and they will be aired on the internet. So all of your listeners that are listening today would be able to either listen through your show, or they would be able to go straight to the Georgia General Assembly website and link directly to the Georgia Senate website and listen live to those meetings. And I plan to be there as their state senator as well.
All right. So, what would you wrap up and tell your constituents in your district here in North Georgia? What would you tell them about the runoff election? Would you encourage them to get out and vote? What do you want to say as a final thought today?
Let me say this just off the cuff. We've all said for 2 years that this is the most important election of our lifetime. I firmly believe that November 3rd election was the most important election of our lifetime. But now, if we look at losing the Republican president to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, what could be even worse is losing the U.S. Senate to the Democrats in January. January 5th has just become the most important election of the time. We have to preserve some balance of power in the U.S. Congress. Otherwise, you have Democrats running the U.S. House, the U.S. Senate, and the presidency. And that could have devastating impacts on us for decades into the future. We have to get out the vote. I know people are upset. I know people have lost confidence in the voting system in our country. They believe that there's been fraud. They believe that the elections have been rigged and somehow stolen. Let's hope and pray that's not true. But we can't give up on our system. We cannot give up on the greatest country on the earth. We have to come out and we have to vote. We have to reelect David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler in January 5th, or we will regret that decision for many, many years to come.
All right, Senator, we appreciate you very much. Let us know immediately when those hearings are set and what will be the format and what will be the direction of those hearings as soon as you can.
I'll do it. I'll give you the information as soon as I get it.
Thank you, Senator. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, folks, that's State Senator Steve Gooch. I just have to ask the question, and he's telling you he's hearing it every day, is, if they're going to have hearings on what to prevent this from happening again, a lot of people are wanting to know, hey, what about now? I want to look up, and can you help me out there? Because I thought the emergency order gave them the ability to come back at any time and rescind that emergency order from the governor. If so, they could have a little bit of bargaining power with Governor Brian Kemp. Let's take about a 3-minute break, and then we'll come back with a little bit of a wrap-up.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Circuit World has complete queen bedroom packages at amazing prices. Get this queen bed, dresser and mirror, 1 nightstand, bedding set, and free 32-inch TV, all for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. Or get this complete queen bedroom set and sleep in style, also for only $1799.99 or $129.99 a month. What an incredible deal! Stop in today at one of our 5 locations and get the furniture you've always wanted at Circuit World.
All right, folks, we're back. BKP here, BKP Politics. I want to, say sorry the show lost what I call the flow in the last hour because I was waiting on the state senator to be able to call in, and I really couldn't get some other segments going. So we're sorry that took place, but we're always glad to have State Senator Steve Gooch. I think you need to call the Capitol. You need to call your senators. You need to call everybody. There was enough, and I'm going to tell you this, okay? There was enough evidence yesterday, okay? There was enough evidence yesterday in Arizona to overturn any thought that somebody should have that this election was fair for Joe Biden and people. 80 million people voted for him. Okay. So if you get a chance, watch that. Okay. I'm going to take a brief break, and we're going to call it a brief break until tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning. All right. We're going to keep up with what's going on in the state. I think Kemp, Raffensperger, and Duncan. I did not hear State Senator Steve Gooch go to their level and call things conspiracy theory, and he hears it every day. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. That's how you can always get in touch with me. That's our email address, social media contacts. We'll work all day to try to keep up with what's going on with the lawsuits and what's happening throughout the country, and we'll get into a little bit of Joe Biden tomorrow maybe. Take a break until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. That's what we'll do.